All right, here he is.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. A long time coming.
I know. Well, I mean, I've been a fan for a super long time, so
Thank you.
Been a long time coming. You were in the Black department, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because some people may not realize that it's sort of gone away somewhat now, but that was a big thing. 70s, 80s, 90s, there was a Black department and a pop department. And the Black department would work it, but they had fewer people, smaller budgets, right? As opposed to the pop department was bigger, more money, the traditional segregation that you see all over the place. This is higher class segregation, but still segregation. And I wonder if you, looking back, if you see any ways that you were shortchanged, because this idea of like Black artists like her are going to go in the Black department as opposed to being in the pop department and having the bigger budget, and like Madonna, but she's coming in with a gigantic budget as opposed to what someone like you would get.
Right. And it was the interesting thing, like you said, fans, like they don't really think about that aspect of it, but it's like to come out and kick ass like that. And I'll think, man, if I had like that other side of it with those budgets, I mean, that would have been just even more ridiculous, just off the charts, but it was a fight. And the interesting thing with me too is that once the record, the strange thing, let me tell you. So initially, being a Black artist, Black department, Black radio was initially the resistance side to play my records.
Why?
And I don't know if it was because there was some resentment, I know part of it was resentment because I had left Shalamar, and it was kind of like a lot of political things going on. They didn't want to support me, but things happen where the universe is going to make it happen. So pop radio, and I was doing promotional tours. Gerald, we went, the promotional staff, station to station, mom and pop stores. I mean, I was like a politician. I was shaking hands with everybody and thank you for your support and I love you. So then there became like a clash between both sides. It's like, Democrats and Republicans. Well, can we all work together for the greater good of the situation? And so there was, she's our artist because I am Black and I was signed through Joe Busby in the Black department. But then once it started to cross over, then you got some resentment even in the Black department, because it's like, what, you're a pop artist now, like what? So I was in the middle, and I'm working on my memoir now, and I write about the politics of being a Black artist, because people don't recognize, like, even when you're successful, there's so many other ways that you can be successful. With me, because I was trendy, I wasn't like the typical Black girl artist at the time. I dealt with backlash from Black radio. What is she wearing? What does she have on? She's not street enough. There were so many different things that I experienced that I wasn't even really, what I thought about it came after the fact, but going through it, going on promotional tours, for instance, and the pop department taking me, I'll never forget it, here in LA, to Kiss FM first. So then when we went to KJLH, or it was 92 The Beat at the time, because we went to KJLH first, TV station, and then we went to Kiss, and we were going to, so they wouldn't let me in the station.
Wow.
because they were like, oh, so you went to the pop station first. So, you know, we're scrapping the interview. We're going to pull your record. So there are things that, and I'm just, the expertise of the promotional staff, they decide who's top, like we're going to go here first, we got like whatever that is. So it was very deep, and I do feel very much so that, you know, though I'm blessed and I've been so successful, and at that time, I mean, you know, a part of pop culture and Hasta La Vista Baby and the Hoop Earring, like everything that I was able to achieve. And then my second album and on from that. And throughout it all, even like I said, judgments on how I was dressing, if I was a white girl, it never would have been like, why does she have on those big boots and those, you know, jeans with the whole, like, you know, it's like, it's dope. It's cutting edge, instead of Black girls don't dress like that. And so from that, I have fans that, you know, you made it cool for Black girls to be different. And that means a lot to me. I
mean, those records were so Black and so funky and so fun. I don't even know what Black radio was tripping about, because how could you play Black music without playing Jody Watley? So
yeah, no, and they caught up to it, and eventually, you know, it all worked. But initially, there was a pushback, and it was designed. It was someone that was just trying not to make me succeed, because they didn't want me to succeed. But, you know, like I said, divine intervention, and it was meant to happen. And, you know, I continued to keep it pushing.
So let's jump back to your youth and your development as a singer and as an artist. You were a crucial part of one of the most important, talk about cultural icons, the most important cultural shows of the 70s, Soul Train. And Soul Train, at least in Boston, came on Saturday mornings, like late morning. Like we all sat around and watched it. And at a time when there were no music videos, Soul Train was a really important way of connecting sort of nationwide, saying, these are the hot records, these are the hot artists, the new artists coming out. These are the dances that are coming out. So if you want to be cool and with it, you'll learn these dances. I was never able to learn those dances, but I was able to be aware of like these are the things that the cool people are doing. So it was an important connector nationwide of saying like, this is what's going on. And you were a dancer on Soul Train. And to be a Soul Train dancer was a big thing. You were a big, super popular Soul Train dancer from age 14 throughout your teenage years. How did that happen? And how did you use that opportunity just to make the most of that moment on a really big, important show?
You know, it is such a gift and a blessing to be a part of such an iconic show like that. Every time I read about it, just posted remembering Don Cornelius on his birthday. I always do that. And I always say eternal gratitude for creating the show, for kids to be able to see ourselves. And though it became an international, renowned show too.
And you can still watch Soul Train right now and be super entertained.
Yeah, it's timeless, and it's always such a good feeling, and to be, have been a part of that, coming to California when my family moved out here, that was, I had to be on Soul Train, and so, once I was able to get on the show, Bobby Washington, a boy I met in church, actually took me on. I had tried, once we moved here, I was looking at Ride On Magazine. How do you get on? Do you audition? Like, where do you go? I met Tyrone Proctor, who just passed away this year. And I said, Mom, start the car. This is Tyrone Proctor. Because Soul Train dancers were stars, they're getting features in the popular Black teen magazines. And so he gave me the wrong number, gave me the runaround, so that didn't work out. And it was ironic because we ended up being great friends in a dance group, and he was in my Still a Thrill video. People know him from that. But he gave me the runaround to get on the show. But I'm like, I got on here because it was meant for me to be here. So once I was a guest, And I knew where it taped. I would go up there each month on the third weekend of the month, and I'd get turned away. I'd ride the bus back home and cry, and I'd go back. And eventually I would sneak in, and I started to get recognized. And Don was, we're going to put you on the list. And so it's like it's singing, like dancing. It's like, you don't have to tell me twice. So once they put me on the center riser, oh, it's a wrap. It's like, I'm going for it now. There's no turning back. So, I always tried to dress different and do things, my handheld fans and it's just a trip to become one of the popular dancers, like the dancers that I was, loved before I got on the show. It's amazing. And when I tell this part of my life, I always think it'll just make a great movie. That's all I know. It's like, because there's so many facets of me and my journey.